And we're back here. Main event.
That's too good.
Bruce Cooper's here, of course, on Tuesdays, and he's already said he has a problem with me.
Yeah, I mean, Steve, if he in any way, shape, or form is going to try and criticize the NC2A or the Big 12 Conference for their stances against Mr. Brendan Sorsby, we have a major problem.
By the way, this is before we came on camera. This is before you say good morning, before you make the introductions about the legend.
Yes. Folks, if we didn't go live, he was going to hit me. I was like, man, how am I going to handle this? All right, let's do it. But of course, the legend, Bruce Cooper, joins us 34 years approximately. We're not sure. Over at Channel 12, of course, local guy for a long time here, knows everything about everything. We talked earlier about James Harden. I want to ask you, first of all, welcome back to the D-backs thing. Last week you wore a Texas Rangers jersey. So welcome back. We'll talk Diamondbacks coming up. But earlier in the show, we were talking James Harden, of course, gun charge and stuff like that. But and then Robert actually chimed in. Let me find it here really quick. And he said, first time Harden's got caught for carrying, and it wasn't by an NFL official, NBA official.
Let's go.
That's a great one, Robert. That's a great one. But I don't think of James Harden as one of the greatest ASU players. I'm talking college here. I think of 3 or 4 people before him. Now, you and Dale got to experience the 70s Sun Devils. I did not, and things to that effect. But, I mean, I think Mario Bennett. I think Ike Diagu. I think Eddie House. All before I would even get to James Harden as an ASU player, which is ironic because then he was drafted number 3. Your thoughts on that?
Well, look, I mean, James Harden led the Sun Devils to back-to-back NC2A appearances. I mean, he was that dude. I mean, he came in, I believe, a 5-star recruit from California school, and I thought he lived up. I thought he lived up to the hype. I mean, I'm
not saying he wasn't good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he wasn't good. I'm just saying, me personally, I think of a few guys before I even get
there. Let me tell you some things that really surprised me about James Harden. You know, when he came to Arizona State, I found him to be more of like a half-court player. He wanted that last shot. I mean, he put him to the free throw line. He made the shot. But when the Thunder drafted him, I mean, to watch him a part of Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, I mean, this dude got up and down the floor. He did some things professionally that I never saw collegiately. And I'm saying, well, maybe that was more of a coaching than anything, because maybe Herb Sindick didn't have that type of offense for him to flourish. But I would certainly put James Harden top 5. I mean, I know you left Byron Scott out of it.
Well, no, like I said, for me, I actually put Byron Scott on the list, even though I didn't see Byron Scott play here. But then just from ASU, but that's what I'm saying. So just me personally in my era, I think I got 3 guys, at least, maybe not ahead of him, but at least with him in the conversation. But then you get to Byron, and Dale brought up some names I didn't even think of, Fat Lever, you know, and those types of guys.
Back in our day,
yeah. And the thing about, and I can tell you this about Fat, he played at Tucson Pueblo High School. They were called the Warriors. We were the Westwood Warriors. And he was more of a defensive player, more of a guy who kind of like got the team into the flow of its offense. I mean, he was that steady guy. I'll never forget this. We're in a BCI tournament, and we were playing the L.A. Watts Magicians. And they had like a couple 7-footers on the team. One of them was like the point of their full court press. And so it made it really tough if you tried to pass over because he was a 7-footer. I mean, back in my day, I was one of those speed guys, quick guys and stuff. And that's what I kind of relied on to get by. Dude, they were swarming. And I'll be honest, they had me rattled. And so they beat us by like maybe 20, 25 points, LA Watts Magicians. Uh-huh. I mean, the next night, I'm sitting in the bleachers because, you know, our game's a little later, and Fat's playing. Because they had a team, Phoenix All-Stars and Southern All-Stars, and so he was with the Southern All-Stars.
Okay.
And they're playing the Watts Magician. And Fat has this, like, cavalier look on his face. It seems like nothing rattles. Dude, they put the same press on this guy, and, I mean, he didn't try to outrun you out quick. I mean, he just made he made those angles. He got in those angles. He made passes, got him up court. I'm like, dang. So that's who Fat was until he went to the freaking Denver Nuggets of the NBA. All of a sudden, he became Mr. Triple-Double. He's dropping 20 points, 30 points. I mean, dude, where was this?
It's crazy.
So he was always he amazed me.
It's funny when you say BCI because do you realize that was the end of that's when I realized that I probably should pick football going to college because I made the Arizona team. We played New York Riverside Church. There's a team from Chicago, and they're the Los Angeles Watts Magicians. And, I realized very quickly I'm pretty good for Phoenix. I'm pretty good for Phoenix. That's a different brand of ball when you get there just by the sheer numbers of how good a lot of guys are.
You'll put Byron Scott up there, but James Harden, at least an ASU career.
Absolutely.
Okay, and that's the thing. We're looking at ASU. So this particular list, it obviously has James Harden, has Eddie House. We're talking top 5.
Hey, look, Eddie was a shooter. I mean, I remember he had a game where he dropped 51. I mean, when he got hot, he was special.
Right.
But he was so short and things like that he didn't really impact the game on both sides of the court. So I would put him more in an elite scorer, a different category. Even though he's got his jersey up and deservedly so. But if you're going to start,
I would never confuse Eddie House with a defensive. Player.
So if you're going to start doing that, then just limit it to maybe a Mount Rushmore. Eddie, I drop him just because he wasn't that two-way player.
Another couple names that are from back your and I era: Byron Scott, 79 to 83 at ASU. Alton Lister.
Hey man, I'll never forget Alton Lister. We were playing pickup. Dude came down with a rebound, throwing elbows. He caught me here, man. Dude separated my rib cage. I couldn't raise my arm for like maybe three weeks or so. I'll never forget it.
One other name that does not ring a bell with me.
Kurt Nymphius? Sam Williams?
Nymphius. I remember him. Jeremy Veal.
Oh, Jeremy Veal could shoot. I mean, he was in that, I believe it was the Rob Evans era.
It had to have been Rob. Early 90s,
94 to 98.
Yeah. Jeremy could shoot. I mean, he's what I call a professional scorer.
Okay. And then the one guy that I did play against on this list, they have him ranked at 11. Paul Williams from
St. Mary's High School.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I played. He's a year ahead of me. I played him as a junior.
Yeah,
and it's just some of these names.
Matter of fact, Paul played with Fat and Byron and those guys on that, and I think that's the last really great ASU team. I think they were like maybe 26-6 or something like that. They had a really gaudy record. They were pretty good.
So, I mean, that was a list there. But then the big question was, it's ironic that I knocked James Harden down on the college career, but is he the best ASU player going to the pros?
Well, I'll put it to you like this. I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I don't know that ASU has any alumni from that basketball era that is in the NBA Hall of Fame. Okay. So if you base it just on the totality of his career, both collegiately and professionally, I think James is going to be number one. Because I truly believe, based on his sheer numbers that he's put up alone, he's a Hall of Fame NBA.
Well, that's what I told Dale. I said because I think highly of Byron Scott.
Sure,
but obviously an integral part of that Showtime Lakers. But he had Magic, Kareem playing with him. Karambis. I mean, come on. But no, he had some talent around him. But he worked as a team, and he was an integral part of that team. And then you got the guy like Harden, who can't win anything. No team can win anything with him on it. But as an individual, he's really good. So where's the trade out there? 3 championships or whatever it is, 4 with Byron Scott with the Lakers.
I think he had 3.
3, yeah. And then and then James Harden, and MVPs, and and his stats there, but an individual player. So where do you kind of look at that? Yeah. But once you get to the Hall of Fame category, like you said, I mean, then it's like obviously one's better than the other.
Yeah. See, here's a problem with Byron and relative to that. When you look at start measuring those championships, that Lakers team, Magic, Kareem, Worthy.
Actually, I forgot about Worthy.
They're all NBA Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Byron is not.
Yeah.
So then you have to put him in that category with Michael Cooper and Rambis, where they were very integral parts.
Oh, he's better than
of the
Rambis
team.
was.
Oh yeah, well, there's no question. Look,
Come
look.
on, stop
Hey,
being salty.
I'm gonna tell you guys this. It's hard for me to take Kurt Rambis serious. Because we at Channel 12, we had the Suns Jam Session show, and we just used different personalities. It was with Cotton Fitzsimmons, with Charles Barkley, with Penny Hardaway, with Jason Kidd, and yes, with Kurt Rambis. And I'm telling you, this Rambis, he did a lot of goofball stuff for us. I mean, just dumb. Look, there is a stretch again where he was just pretty much a bench warmer for the Suns. So we did a skit on his show where what does Rambis do to keep himself occupied during the game, because he's not getting in. So before the game, I mean, we stopped at like a Circle K. We bought a bunch of just candy, licorice, and he's taping them underneath his seat in the other bit. I mean, he just did goofy, stupid stuff.
He was a different cat.
Oh, he was, and then I tell you, there was one that I really loved.
Still is, I'm sure. We're acting like we killed him off, but yeah.
He went golfing with Jay Taylor, so he it's kind of like his off season. He got a lot of off downtime, so they were going to shoot some golf. So. Just him and Jay Taylor, they're dressed in fatigues. They go into the golf shop, expecting to get guns and rifles and stuff. And so they're trying to figure out how they can use a club and a golf ball. They thought it was primitive. And they're just, the bunkers and stuff like that. I mean, I just can't take Kurt serious. He's the general manager up top, and I can't take the dude serious. Just
I didn't know it went to those levels. I knew he was a silly dude and stuff like. I've heard the stories with Pat Riley
amazing.
back in the where Pat Riley would just stare at him sometimes and just walk off and stuff. Yeah. Robert says, "Isn't the Basketball Hall of Fame not the NBA Hall of?" Yes, basketball. Your total accomplishments and.
But they're not. But that's not in it.
Yeah.
Well, that's just what I said. If you look at the totality of their career, which includes, the NBA.
Yeah, but then you also got this era where James Harden perfect. I still hold it against him. Perfected that step, that giant step back three. You're driving
Kick
forward,
your leg
and,
out.
and all of that. And I still hold that against him.
I think Coops. I've always said I was doing that back in Westwood back in 1978.
Hey, let me tell you something. There was a period where James was just an assassin.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
when it came playoff time, him and Chris Paul are two dudes that I could never figure out at playoff time.
Yeah.
I mean, they're either going to get hurt, or they're going to be wildly ineffective from what they were during the regular season.
You saw that this year. I know he's older now, but you saw that this year with Cleveland. It was like more turnovers than points every game until like the last one or something. But let's take our top of the hour break here. Come on back. Just wanted to get that from you. We have Sorsby we got to talk about. Me and Cooper are going to fight openly on air about this, apparently. Diamondbacks, they sent down Waldschmidt, Pavin Smith up. We'll listen to what Torrey said about that. We'll listen to Torrey talk about Pavin last night after Pavin humbles us all, who's been asking why he's still on this team last night. We'll talk about all that as well. So come on back. The main event. And we're back here. Main event here on this Tuesday. The legend, as we call him. He doesn't like it. But you know what? He has to put up with it
He
here.
acts like he doesn't like it.
Steve has it right.
Yeah, that's not what you're texting me every day. Stop calling me legend. I'm not coming back in. And stuff like that. We got the legend here to my left. We got the legend to my right. And then this guy sitting right here in the between.
Bye to Dobson.
Yeah, exactly. Me and Toby Wright, two best guy. I do have a picture of, on a separate note, I do have a picture of Coach Clark's plaque over there at the Glendale Arena. I showed Autumn that the other day.
The guy that made you get off the little piece of
it
bread.
wasn't him. It was, it was Clark that yelled at me. Yeah,
You're talking about the Dobson football coach who guided them to a 1987 state title?
Here's what's amazing. Yeah. Here's what's, and then you got, Yes. And then Westwood won it in '89, right afterwards.
We
right?
came back. I believe it was '88. That was
88 or '89. My sister went to
Yeah,
Westwood when
yeah,
they won
because
it.
it was and like I told you, it was Albie Lopez who quarterbacked
Oh,
that.
that's right, yeah.
that Westwood team.
Yeah, so I mentioned one time Dobson won it in a late age, and he's like, "No, they didn't," and I'm like, "No, they really did. I swear to God, they
and
won it one year."
had the Wright brothers.
That was the Wright brothers then. That was and all them. But that's the thing. I was reading his plaque, and it's like, 1970. Like he was at Dobson before I was born, and he was still there. And I graduated in '95
Who
at Clark. Yeah.
he was a student at
No.
Dobson? Oh.
Coach,
Okay.
obviously.
Well, I knew he was a head coach,
But then
you said
no,
he was
no,
there
no. Then
before.
I was there. No. That's what I mean. He was before I was born. He was coaching at 77.
Oh, I see. I get it. I'm a little.
But
slow.
even
I figured that
even
out.
then, you got McConnell, the basketball coach, who's still there.
Rick McConnell. Dick
Yes,
McConnell? Yeah.
his son's now head coach over at St. Mary. Mickey, who of course played at Dobson, but he was there. I think in the late '70s
Yeah, he
too,
was,
and
he
he's
was.
still there.
Wow.
Damn, man, if I'm old, they're old.
I was down in your neck of the woods on Saturday, Coop.
He was right down the road from
I
Westwood.
was at the Mesa Arts Center, and that's the first time I ever drove by coming home down Center Street and saw the Oakland A's baseball complex. It just pops up
the
in the
old
middle
Cubs
of the
one there?
neighborhood.
Yeah.
They used to be the old Chicago Cubs.
Yeah. And but Mesa Arts Center and Steve
Oh, you
Townsend,
went that way. You went by the Holcomb
I
Stadium.
don't even
yeah.
know where the Mesa Arts Center is.
Downtown Mesa.
Your wife doesn't make you go see plays.
Hold on.
No.
You know where
I
Milano
don't do
Music
that.
is, right?
Huh?
You know where Milano Music's at,
Probably
right?
on Main Street
You've been,
somewhere.
yeah, it's right there on Main Street. Yeah.
So my 4-year-old granddaughter had her first recital, Coop, so I drove all the way
yeah.
down there.
All the way. Yeah, you went the long way out of there. Going all
No,
the
we
way
took
up
the
there.
101 down, but there's construction.
Hey, dude, you want? I'm gonna tell you guys a story. Since you said your granddaughter, I actually had took I had to take my wife. I mean, I had to take my daughter to these recitals.
Yeah.
I worked swings, and so my daughter had these practices in the morning. So my wife's off at work in the morning, so I had to take her there, dude. So the first day I go in there, I think there was like maybe a dozen girls,
Yeah.
and there were 11 women with all the instructors women, and I'm the one guy in there.
Yeah.
So I sat down, and then they started. I could tell that they were having conversations that it was uncomfortable to have because there was a guy in there. So from after that day, every day I would take my daughter and I go out and sit in the car. So I never forget that. I mean,
Get out of here, Coop. We want to talk about you.
See, you're the opposite. When my daughter did gymnastics, I'd sit right there at the front glass, and I'd just sit there and I'd get on my phone or I'd read a book or something. And I'd just sit there and let them all just gossip all around
Oh,
me.
hey,
I don't care at all.
There were some conversations that
I know.
that yeah.
I know about some of the some of the
yeah.
women's husbands and where they
Yeah, some of those bedroom conversations. That,
Yeah,
they,
and
they,
I'm just
they,
like-
they didn't want Coop apart
I've been there.
because some of them were divorcees
Yeah.
and things
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
I have no
so they
sh-
got,
I
they
have
got
no
stories they're
shame.
trying to tell. Yeah,
I'll sit there and listen to that all the time. No problem. I'll join in as well. But anyway, now that we're uncomfortable here, but Sorsby now he's not even eligible for the supplemental. The NFL has to schedule this. He has to be eligible. They're pulling his lawsuit out now, which will make him eligible for the supplemental draft coming up here. But before we get into his NFL odds and where he can be drafted and stuff like that, he backed out yesterday and said he's going to go into the supplemental draft. Backed out. The pressure from the Big 12. The pressure from all the other conferences got too big for Texas
Well,
Tech.
I think. Well, look. Texas has an AG, Attorney General Ken Paxson,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, if you follow some of his political ideology, I mean, you just can't go along with the guy on that. But here's the deal that I didn't appreciate: he sent some letter,
Huh?
a threatening letter,
Mhm.
as I took it.
No, it was a threatening letter.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about it. He
yeah.
told the Big 12, "You do anything,
Absolutely.
and we're coming after you."
Dude, I mean,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
that's not your position. That's not your job.
Right.
It was such a bad miscalculation. He sent that letter. The big booster from Texas Tech
Yeah.
told everybody, "We will sue the crap out of you
Yeah.
if you do something." He sent that letter. Oklahoma's AG and another AG both came out within 12 hours with rebuttal letters saying, "Big 12, we got your back. Basically, go do
Yeah,
this."
yeah,
And that was the monumental mistake that Texas Tech did. They thought they thought they were going to scare everybody to back down.
But they had the back. It's to me. There's no question about it. They had the backing of the Texas AG.
Oh, yeah,
which
100%.
is just so
Yeah.
wrong. It's not his
Yeah.
job, his position
Yeah.
to step in this in any way, shape, or form. So
They put my favorite part, if you know anything about law, they filed that 47-page legal thing with the federal. I read it yesterday. I know because I'm a glutton for
well,
punishment.
he didn't have any time.
I know, but they put as one of the exhibits, they put that Texas AG in there as an example of Texas and Texas A&M or Texas Tech, excuse me, and the state of Texas going against and not allowing the Big 12 to follow its bylaws.
Yeah.
It was like the number one of the major things in there, and they would have lost so unbearably bad in this federal lawsuit that's why Sorsby's not there.
Look. I don't know. I wasn't going to put it against Texas Tech. I mean, obviously, there's some powerful. Texas Tech had the backing of some powerful people,
And they were prepared to
right.
use it, yeah.
And so I like the fact that the Big 12 met and they wanted to challenge the Texas
ruling.
Tech ruling, and want to stick to their bylaws. I mean, they're citing the Sherman Antitrust Act.
They were going to come down with something hard on Texas Tech, and Texas Tech went the legal route and had to back down on it, which I think is phenomenal because I didn't think the way the Pac-12 fell apart, was, Michael Crow and everybody trying to force stuff into things, and people were just like, we're out of here and stuff to that effect. So that doesn't always work, and the Big 12 stuck together in this, which was really impressive to see.
I think it was the right thing to do. The Big 12. I mean, even for the NCAA as a whole and the Big 12 as a conference, there's something called integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And for the sanctity and integrity of both the NC2A and the Big 12 conference, I applaud Brendan Sorsby and whoever his support people are who said, hey, man, we may lose this and you'll miss a whole year. Why don't we just go to the supplemental draft now? We'll put it. And he said yes. And here's the deal. And you best believe the Cardinals will probably be in the conversation for that.
Let me tell you something.
They should be.
I don't pretend to know the law. I don't care about the law. I know the law can be broken, and if you have the right guys behind you, you can get away with it. I didn't even think about that. I'm thinking about Sorsby, one dude in this whole turmoil in college football and on him. But
it's his fault, Dale.
I'm not saying that it wasn't his
fault. He has to be accountable for his sins.
I'm not saying that it's not his fault. But what I'm saying is, I don't think I would have even cared as far as he did because of all the scrutiny. I would have skedaddled 3 months ago.
Well, doesn't this hurt the way it's been drawn out? Doesn't this now hurt him? Some teams won't want him because it all came out, right?
No. And look, there was no question. I mean, when I read this Texas judge who says, "Oh, it could cause irreparable harm for the guy," and look, so we're gonna let him serve that 2-game self-imposed penalty or ban by the school, and yet he's going to have to continue with his therapy for substance and
gambling
and gambling abuse.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was alcohol and gambling.
Yeah, just gambling.
Okay, gambling. Okay, and
we don't know about the alcohol.
Dude,
Coach.
are you high? I mean, come on, look. Every player is subjected to this, and so you don't want your league or even your conference compromised by saying, look, okay, there's rules. Look, kids out there, you can get away with breaking the rules, and yet you don't really have to have any major penalties behind that.
They legalize gambling with this deal. Go gamble all you want, and you can get an injunction and play the whole year.
It's just so many things wrong about that.
But here's the thing that I have an issue with, Coop. Love to get your take on this. We've all known, you've known,
Absolutely.
I was part of it, that college sports is unscrupulous. Players got paid in college when they're not supposed to get paid. I know it's legal now, and there's a certain amount. It's almost like the unwritten rules of baseball. You can do certain things, but you can't do certain things and all that. But I think this has became such a public outcry that there's no way he's winning that case, and he's going to move on now.
And I think that was smart on his part. And like I said, it saves both the NC2A and the Big 12 conference. They can still go forward and say, "Hey, we
No-
will
no
not
gambling.
we will not be compromised." But they can give that because the minute that your integrity is compromised, man, you've lost a lot.
Yeah.
Well, the other side is I believe this was going to turn into a deeper fight if this would have continued. He played at Cincinnati for the last 2 years. What conference is Cincinnati in? Big 12.
well, Big 12.
So how can Cincinnati? I brought this up yesterday. Cincinnati's going to vote against Texas Tech when Texas Tech is going to say, "Well, he played at Cincinnati for 2 years. That was allowed.
Yeah,
Why
and-
isn't it allowed here?"
and-
They
and-
knew about it.
Yeah, and I think
So you're going to have a lot of messiness in this.
Yeah, well, I think the both of us, and I think maybe I say all three of us agree that when it was all under the cap, under the hat, secret. Not a lot of people know about this.
Right.
The minute Sorsby transferred, Cincinnati dropped dime.
Oh, I have no doubt about it.
And I wonder is if he went to a school outside the Big 12, would they have dropped the dime?
No.
They went to an ACC school.
I think first of all, just to be clear
Probably
about
not.
this, it did come out in court filings. A gambling site notified federal agencies. The federal agencies are who notified Texas Tech. But you can't tell me that somewhere in there wasn't somebody going, "Hey, you gonna screw my team?"
Well, Cincinnati called the.
That's the thing, yeah. But that's the other benefit of this that people don't know about on NAL. Next big time transfer that transfers out and goes to your rival is drop what you know, because they investigate these guys. And here's the other true sign point here. Texas Tech said, now we don't know the layout of it. It was $6 million about he was getting to go to Texas Tech. We don't know if it was all paid at once. We don't know if they're paying it in advance. But Texas Tech said they're not going to ask him for the money they've paid him back, whatever that amount is.
Wow.
Which
Ask
also
him to pay back.
Which also tells, because they would have had to go on a litigation on that, which also tells you, at least tells me, Texas Tech was the one pushing this.
Oh, there's no.
Because now they're like,
their
hey.
booster is.
Yeah, exactly. So now they're going to go, well, you keep that money for going through this and good luck in the pros. But is there going to be a supplemental draft of one? Because he technically isn't there. They said they're going to withdraw the lawsuit that did the injunction to allow him to play this year, which makes him ineligible again. And the NFL's got to schedule it. But you mean to tell me, because I said earlier, you don't think some NFL teams will back off him because of the question marks on the gambling side?
I don't think so.
He might drop.
Here, this is my deal, my feeling here. You can look at the history of the draft. There have been players that were still drafted in the first round. I can think of a couple who had some high-speed fatality.
Well, anybody from Georgia, right?
Well,
Any defensive lineman from Georgia.
I'm not mentioning any names. I'm just telling you.
Well, Rashi Rice, right? Who just got out of jail today, by the way, this morning. 30 days in jail.
They were still drafted.
Yes. Well, the guy with the gas mask the night before.
He dropped. Yeah, he dropped.
He dropped, but he's still
Well, that's the question. I mean, if he's going to drop down to the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, you're the Cardinals. You better have your name in there, right?
Here's the deal. There was not going to be a single team that was going to spend a corresponding first-round pick on him in this draft. I mean, all 32 teams are going to pass on him in the first round.
Yeah. And if you don't know, whatever he gets drafted in the supplemental, you lose that draft pick next year's NFL.
Right.
Draft.
So I got a trivia question for
works.
you two. Let's see which one of you guys gets first. The first supplemental draft was held in 1977. They haven't had a supplemental draft since 2023, and no one has been selected in one since 2019. Can you name that player?
I do know that player.
I don't know, but I tell you what, when he answers that, I got one for you.
Okay.
Jalen Thompson, Arizona
Jalen
Cardinals,
Thompson, Arizona
who
Cardinals.
just signed with the Cowboys for big money.
Oh, wow.
Fifth round.
I do remember from Washington State.
Yeah, fifth
2019.
round.
There was one in 2023, but nobody got drafted.
Right,
In that one.
right.
Terrell Pryor, obviously, famously.
Ohio State.
No, but the Miami quarterback.
No. That's here.
Oh, sorry.
That's where I'm going. See, Dale Hillestry. There in '89.
Yeah.
There was some dude named Troy Aikman drafted #1 overall. And I'll be darned if those Dallas Cowboys didn't spend a first-round pick in the supplemental draft on a dude named Steve Walsh, a quarterback from Miami. I'm thinking, why would the Cowboys basically draft two quarterbacks with first round
Dale,
picks.
Dale's got the most
so-
interesting story about
Okay,
this.
go ahead, Dale.
All right, so I have this on great authority of the head of scouting that was in Dallas at that time, a gentleman named Walter Julith. So here was the deal. Number one, Jimmy had just gotten to the Cowboys, won national championship in Miami with
Jim Kelly.
Steve Walsh.
Steve Walsh.
Oh, yeah, that's
He was
right.
his
Excuse me,
quarterback, yeah.
Steve Walsh. You're absolutely
with
right.
Steve Walsh.
You're absolutely right. My bad.
So Jimmy's plan was, I'm going to take Tony Mandrich with the first pick. And then I'm going to take Steve Walsh with the first pick in the supplemental draft.
Ooh.
All right? And obviously he got talked out of it, but this Walter Julith said up to 2 days before the draft, Jimmy still wanted Tony Mandrich.
Is that right?
Somebody got into his ear and said, hey, you can't pass up Troy. And so they take them both. Full well knowing there's going to be a little quarterback controversy. It's going to divide the locker room because there are a lot of Miami guys in there. When I got traded there in 90, I'm like looking around going, oh,
It's all Hurricanes.
And but listen to this draft plan. So he ends up taking Troy and Steve in this supplemental draft. The following year, we end up having the 17th pick in the draft.
Some dude named Emmitt Smith, huh?
Desperately trying to trade up to the 9th pick, 8th pick, 10th pick, somewhere around there that Cincinnati had, because they wanted a linebacker out of Baylor named James Francis.
Oh.
And have a nice NFL career. So, if you stack it up, how many Super Bowls did the Cowboys win with Steve Walsh, Tony Mandrich, and James Francis?
That's interesting. Now, who do they take with the 17th pick in the 9th?
Yeah, they took Evan Smith. and so when I say that, because the one thing, and Jimmy, there's a lot of good things about Jimmy. The one thing that I hate hearing Jimmy say is there's no luck in football. BS, there's no luck in football.
Dang, so he wanted Tony Mandarich.
Yeah.
And the Packers took him 2nd overall pick, and they left some dude named Barry Sanders, Derek Thomas, and Deion Sanders on the board.
Well, what a draft that was, huh? Wow. But anyway, hey, nobody really knows that story.
Dang.
And they got I think they got a low first and a 2nd round pick for Steve Walsh a couple years later, and everything was fine and all that. But
it did
that is really
it did tear their locker room apart.
It was teetering because there's probably 12 Miami guys on the roster in Dallas at that time,
including some dude named the playmaker.
The playmaker, and
he's quiet, right? He keeps his opinions to himself.
He's gonna be really quiet.
You got the playmaker. We had some defensive linemen, and they were all in Steve's corner because they won a championship with Steve. So anyway, that's an aside.
That's really interesting. So Jimmy Johnson wanted Tony Mandarich, and he wanted his college quarterback that had quarterbacked them to a national championship, and Steve Walsh and James Francis. I do remember that name.
Do you see that? That's when I know you got a little sickness to you. I know you got a little sickness to you.
From Baylor, too. Yeah.
It was crazy.
But isn't that amazing? Like, just think about, like Adele says it. I mean, just knowing how their careers went, even Mandrich's career went.
Yeah.
He ain't winning championships.
And yet, at the end of the day, Coop, you can talk about the Herschel Walker trade and the bevy of draft picks they got and all that. But until they traded for Hellestrae, they won nothing.
Hey, look,
they had a lot of championships.
You can't argue with the facts.
No,
facts are the facts.
Michael always starts laughing because anytime I interview him or talk to him, I start with, "Hey, Michael, how many Super Bowls you win before Hellestrae got there?" Hey, by the way, how many Super Bowls the Cowboys won since they cut me in 2000?
Wow, how about that? How about
that?
This guy.
He does the same thing about SMU.
Yeah, I'm the legend. SMU goes on the death penalty after I leave, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
This guy.
And now they're back and not doing anything.
This guy.
The whole only falls through when you get down to Saguaro, where they had some really good teams there.
Yeah. Well, we lost a team called Mountain View back in 1978.
Rodney Brewer.
Still haven't tackled him, Coop. Still haven't tackled him.
Yeah, but so supplemental drafts are hit or miss, but I think this is
well let me
this
ask
is
you
a
something.
big guy coming out of the
before you go any
supplemental.
further. The Arizona Cardinals, they will definitely be talking about sending a pick on this on Sorsby.
They better have a pick in on this. Is how I'm looking at it.
And so my question is, at what pick or what round are you willing?
So understand. So just to explain to everybody. So the way this works is you send in a fax or whatever you do now, email, however you do it now, and to the NFL, and you say if he's still available in the third round, because it'll be the same draft order as this past year draft.
Yeah.
We'll do a third round pick.
It takes 10 minutes to do this.
Yes, and they'll just go through, okay, nobody in the first round. Nobody in the second round. Oh, third round. Oh, Cardinals and maybe somebody else behind them comes up and throws. And it's just whoever his name comes up first. But you don't know who's involved or who you're going against in what round. Yeah. So it is. It's really fascinating when you think about it.
It's kind of like the waiver wire. You put your name in, and then they just go, you got awarded, you guys did. See you later.
What my question to you, Coop, is you're sitting here right now, you're Monty, and you're talking to LaFleur. What round are you going to put his name in?
But see, here's the deal here. All right, I just
spend a third rounder on Carson Beck.
Right.
That's my thing.
And he went through the mini camp. He already has the playbook.
He's going to be your starter.
And I've already screwed up this offseason by not coming to some type of terms with Jacoby Brissett, who I have named as my starter. And so this guy doesn't presumably have the playbook. If he does, he certainly hasn't practiced with any of the players. So
he's been a little busy with other stuff, Coop.
You've been studying lawsuits.
Don't forget too, he's coming off an injury.
Sorsby?
Yeah. So
no. I'm talking about Jacoby.
Oh, Jacoby.
Right?
I'm sorry, Jacoby.
Yeah. Because and so now, all of a sudden, if I bring Sorsby in, I have 4 quarterbacks. That can't be done. I have 4 quarterbacks. So if they do go Sorsby, to me, they have to put Brissett on the trading block.
You don't know when Sorsby is going to be able to play.
Well, they say they said he's ready to play this summer.
Oh, because Texas Tech was saying that he might not even play for a month or two.
I don't know. Well, I probably don't need him to play for a month or two anyway.
Yeah,
because
this is
Gardner Minshew would be my starter,
but that's my whole point on this is the Cardinals. Leave it to the Cardinals. They're in this position. Sorsby's an upgrade from everything they got. If Sorsby was in this draft, you could have gotten him, in the second round, and everybody probably would have been happy with it because Sorsby's at least a second-grade talent, maybe a first. You stretched into third, so you're going to waste 2 third-round picks on 2 quarterbacks?
Well, the Cowboys wasted 2 first.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I mean, Washington did that back in the day.
But my whole point is that the Cardinals have screwed up their whole quarterback situation. Is what I'm pointing out because if you can't pay Jacoby Brissett, if you don't think he's worth what he's asking, why would you even name him a starter and put yourself in this position anyway?
They try to walk it back.
You're looking bad. And so now if you say, look, okay, here's a guy who, God, Michael Wilson had a breakout. Now, regardless if Marvin Harrison was playing or not, I mean, Wilson had a breakout.
Yeah.
Now, you can't say that Trey McBride had a breakout because the dude was catching 100 passes every game. Now, he did catch more touchdown passes.
Right.
Didn't
he a year ago not have any?
Yeah, but because some dude named James Conner had like 19.
Yeah.
So you didn't have James Conner. So it's up. But my point is, if you thought Jacoby Brissett was a key link to Michael Wilson's development, isn't it worth the investment from a few million? I don't know how much truly Brissett's asking for.
Yeah.
But isn't it worth it? I mean, just from at least a continuity standpoint, isn't it at least worth it? And they didn't do that. And so now you're put in this position where people are looking at you, the Cardinals, they need to put in for Sorsby because, hey, look, Sorsby, because we have no idea how this next draft will unfold. If the Cardinals will get their guy in this draft, but I'm just telling you, I think the Cardinals have already bungled the quarterback situation.
Oh, yeah.
And if they do put in a bid for Sorsby,
gonna make it worse.
Well, they now have 4 quarterbacks, and the only guy that you can legitimately put out is Jacoby Brissett.
And the thing is, understand something with that. Yeah, you can try and trade him, and maybe somebody will bite and give you a 7th, 6th, 5th round or something.
Maybe
not
not till after training camp on who gets hurt.
But at the end of the day, when you look at it, you can also cut him. He's got $1.9 million guarantee. It's not like it's going to kill your salary cap. If, in fact, you've got options of the Cardinals. I am with you.
Yeah.
I think they screw up. But here's the one caveat, Bruce.
They named him a starter.
Here's the one caveat, Bruce.
Okay.
We're assuming, I think, that Jacoby Brissett is being reasonable and saying, hey, $15 million, maybe $20 million. But if he's there going, I want 30, I want low 30s.
If he's asking 20, he's being unreasonable.
I'm just saying, we don't know that.
We don't.
And obviously, we can make a much stronger decision. If you say, hey, just bump me up to 15. But for 1 year, you got the salary.
The fact that when it leaked out to Josh Weinfurst and they didn't have an amount, it just said significant difference between them, told me that Jacoby's not being completely unreasonable. Because if he was asking $30 million, the Cardinals would have floated it out there.
Yeah.
And he would gone like, he's asking 30. Because we all would have been like, what are you doing, Jacoby, you moron? Knock it off. But if he's 10 and the Cardinals are fighting him,
Yeah.
But that's the problem, and I agree with you. I mean, but like I said, break this down. 3rd round pick. If they got Sorsby in the 3rd round, 2 3rd-round picks on a quarterback to come into now. Arguably better talent here, with Sorsby than Carson Beck, and I love me some Beck, but definitely some better talent. So then you have all those question marks. You have 2 3rd-round picks, which 3rd-rounders can impact your team.
Can you
So
say
kind of
Joe,
wasting
can
them.
you say Joe Montana?
Yeah, and so you have those types of issues.
But then you can look at the greatest team of the 90s and the Cowboys. They used 2 number one picks on quarterback.
Yeah, but then you guys had to battle a quarterback that was taken in the 3rd round, and his name was Joe Montana.
But here's Cowboys weren't good when they did that move, but they were going in the right. Cardinals aren't going in the right
No,
direction.
they were fixing to go into a 1-15 year.
Yeah.
That's how bad they were. So they were actually maybe a tad bit worse than the Cardinals are. Because that's what the 1989 draft, and then the 89 season when they went 1-15. And
you're right.
And
That's
so,
right. Yeah.
again, they got hammered. They got hammered for 2 number one pick, blah, 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 blah. So, again, you got to do what you think is right. Screw what everybody else says. And if you think he's a 3rd-round pick.
Do they now I don't know this. Are they going to be able to meet with him? Every team going to be able to meet with him? Obviously, probably not work him out, but because his agent came out with stuff from therapists and everybody saying he has severe anxiety issues, and they hype that stuff up. That obviously is a negative for an NFL team.
NFL quarterback.
Yeah, the therapist literally said he has a hard time functioning in day-to-day activities. It's so bad.
Well,
now that was to win the case and be eligible for college.
Right.
But then as an NFL team, you go, wait, what?
But when you watched him play at Cincinnati,
so good.
he did not look like he had any type of.
But that's what I'm wondering. Do NFL teams get a chance to sit down with them and meet with them and run them through the doctor? I'm assuming you do, but I don't know with the supplemental draft. I don't know how you get into that.
Well, they may have an independent doctor that does
One
them,
person goes and
and
does
then
it.
they share all the medicals with.
What? So I don't know, Coop. If this was a normal situation, I was any team in the league and I needed a quarterback, depending how bad I needed one, I would take him and I would put in a 2nd-round pick for him.
Well, here's the deal.
The Cardinals.
You have a team like the New York Football Jets.
That's what I'm getting at.
That desperately need a quarterback. You have a team like the Cleveland Browns who always need a quarterback, despite the fact that Deshaun Watson's coming back and you drafted Shedeur.
Do you get rid of your Pro Bowler, Shedeur Sanders, for Sorbet? Is that a movie you make?
I wouldn't call him a Pro Bowler, even though he was.
It's on.
Go, Coop. It's on his record.
Yeah, it is. But my whole point is that there are other teams out there, and so the Arizona Cardinals, they just assume that they can say, well, we'll spend a 3rd-round pick. If you really want the guy, I think you better go in the 2nd round, because I think that's what the New York Jets would do.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting. But and that's my thing. I think the Jets, if the Jets are smart, 2nd round, we'll take them in the 2nd round.
Yeah, Jets
nobody should take them in the 1st. Supplemental is kind of like a give me. You get a guy with some talent at a lower level of what you get. But I think the Jets would be dumb not to. And I would say that in normal situations, I expect the Cardinals to have it in the 2nd round. I will not stand for the Cardinals taking 2 quarterbacks with 3rd-round draft picks, high-level 3rd-round draft picks that could be as well next year. You're wasting 3rd-round draft picks that could help you when you have so many holes to fill. But at the same time, Cardinals better have their name in there. In my opinion, that third round, definitely by the fourth. But in that third round, you better have your name in there.
I don't. If you wait that late, I think you missed the boat.
Oh, you do, yeah. So no, because how do you if you're the Jets, like you said, the Browns, the Jets? These are an upgrade to everybody.
Right now, all the Jets. Who do the Jets have behind their Geno Smith?
Yeah.
Who do they have?
No, that's the thing. He can go and be behind Geno Smith.
So you can spend a second knowing that you have multiple first-round picks, meaning the Jets going forward, because the Jets had a fire sale this past season. They picked up first-round assets going forward.
There's teams out there that should jump in on this, and then he can sit for a year. And
what about the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, this is last year your backup is Mason Rudolph.
Absolutely.
Oh, no, there's a bunch of teams that should be jumped. Because I like Sorsby. If he was in this draft, I would have been the guy in here saying Cardinals need to take him at their second round pick.
If Sorsby was in this draft, he's probably the second quarterback behind, and he'll go before Ty Simpson.
To the Rams at 14.
Yeah.
No, I don't disagree. And that's the talent that you got here and stuff like that. But just with the Cardinals taking Carson Beck at 3, I don't think you can go in there with the first or second round pick in a supplement. But the interesting thing isn't it a Cardinals thing? The Jets don't have a muddied water with this. Who is the messiest team now? Every other team can put their bid in for Sorsby, and generally their fan base would be like, oh, good, we got some upgraded talent. All the bad teams. The Cardinals do it and get him, everybody's going to flip out and call them losers and everything because they've just made the complicated system worse. Isn't that amazing how that works?
Well, I'm going to tell you, look, of all the quarterbacks in next year's draft, I know when you look at next year's draft, there are people who like Arch Manning, there's people who like Dante Moore, people like Lenore Sellers. I still like Trinidad Chambliss from Ole Miss.
And that's the other side. The Jets might be waiting.
I think he's the best quarterback without even having the season play out.
But
the bottom line is there'll be multiple choices in the first round of this upcoming draft here. And I didn't even talk about Julian Sayin from Ohio State. So there'll be multiple first round picks. So I could look at the Cardinals and I could say that, based on what they've done, if I'm them, this is what I do. I do put in a pick in the third round, knowing that I'm likely not going to get him, because I'm looking ahead to the 27 draft, where I'll likely spend my own first round pick on a quarterback. And so I asked myself, okay, of those 5 quarterbacks I just mentioned, where do I rank Sorsby with them? And despite the fact that they haven't played their next season of college football. And so those are the things that you have to look at. You have to now look at the potential, their ceiling, and things like that. And
but the Jets are doing that too.
Yeah. But there's no question in my mind the Jets are going to spend a second. And you only want to spend a third. If
the Cardinals didn't take Carson Beck at 3, I would take Sorsby in the second.
But you got to go to reality.
Yeah. I know that's the problem.
And so that's why, and I agree with Dale. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers might be a team that says, you know what, let's send in that.
Well, because
let's send in that first. Because
the Steelers aren't going to be bad enough to get one of those top guys. They're not going to be 1 through 5 picks next year.
Because
in theory,
they're saying, look, under Tomlin, we never missed the playoffs. We don't expect that to change under McCarthy.
Exactly.
And so we're always going to be
late teens, early 20s.
Yeah. And so let's send it in first.
Right.
Send it in first.
And just see.
Yeah, I don't disagree. So that's kind of where it goes. But the Cardinals need to put it in, I think. Show that you're trying to improve your team. It's when they sit back and go, oh, we didn't want to do that. No, even if it's a 4th rounder, put it in. Put in a 6th rounder. Just so you make an effort for it.
Well, you won't even have to get to that.
Have your name in there.
You'll never get to that point when the Steelers have taken them at 1 or the
the way I
Jets
understand.
at 2.
The way I understand is they just say what round would you take them in.
Yeah.
And so everybody, like you said, emails in and says third, second.
Unless it leaks,
so you
90%
can put in
of teams don't even know whether they put in or not.
So you could put in 6 ahead of time, and then it just doesn't get to you and whatever. It's kind of like the claims process. You don't know who puts in the claims for guys until it gets awarded. Kind of a deal. Robert said, if the Cardinals pick Sorsby, it'll be okay for the national media. Will continue to bash him. If it's a marquee team, he will turn into a darling. And that is true. I think his problem, to be honest, we talked about this before. I think his problem with college was Texas Tech was his problem.
Sure.
If this would have been Arizona State, Utah, I'll even argue some SEC teams. Yeah, they'd argue inside the SEC. If it was LSU, people would bash LSU for it. but it would just everybody would kind of be okay with the move. And he's working on it.
Well,
The problem was they went to the most hated team in college football.
No. Here's the deal. See, Cincinnati knows this. Everybody else knows this.
Yeah.
Texas, when they lost their starting quarterback, Texas Tech, when they lost their starting quarterback to graduation, they said, okay, here's the transfer portal. Who do we like, guys? Sorsby. Hey, you come to Texas Tech, we got $6 million with your name on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? I'm out.
Yeah.
And so Arizona, any other school is not in there because Texas Tech.
Yeah.
They went to their boosters and said, hey, look,
Yeah.
this is what it's take. This guy we think that can continue our Big 12 run.
I'm not saying he has a chance. I'm saying it's the fact he went to Texas Tech was his biggest problem because that is the school everybody's targeting is trying to buy a winning
there's
program.
no question. There's no
and
question
everybody
they're
hates
buying.
him for it.
There's no question.
Everybody hates him for it. So take out the money side. I'm just saying that's why it's even worse there is everybody can jump onto that bandwagon of Texas Tech because they're so brash with their spending on top of it. So let's get into some Diamondback stuff. So when we come back, let's talk about it. Torian Waldschmidt going down. Torian Pavin last night, Pavin shutting everybody up.
Hey, Pavin Smith, 50 points better in his batting average from yesterday morning to this morning.
Talk about that and more. Come on back with Bruce Cooper, the main event. And we're back here, main event. And these two guys, he's talking about his Hall of Fame over here, and he's talking about his Emmys over here. And I'm just sitting there going, I won a mac and cheese award for most macaroni eaten.
Coop's got himself a couple.
I'd rather have the Dale Hillestream resume
than the Emmys and stuff. Ooh,
I mean, you got 3 Super Bowl rings. You played with America's team, and I mean, dang, it's just a whole lot.
Yeah, you worked for America's TV channel, and I bet you got not a little Bruce room that rivals anybody.
Hey, man, I'm tell you something. Let me tell you how America teams work. Cowboys here for I believe it's the '96 Super Bowl against the
30.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
There's a place called the Tempe Buttes.
Yeah.
Resort. Jerry Jones bought this place out, and it was just only for Dallas Cowboys, their family, their staff, and stuff like that. And so I remember I went there, with my photographer post Super Bowl. Now, this is the next day. And, there's just all kinds of Dallas Cowboy fans, out there. I'm making my way through there and stuff. And so we're by the bus because they won't let you get in. It's security. They won't let you get in any further. So you're just hoping that a big star will walk towards the bus so you can get, because the guy's bringing the luggage, putting it in and stuff like that. I didn't even see Dale Hillestream come out, man. I mean, come on, man.
You want to know why Dale Hillestream didn't come out?
Because he was gone.
Because I was staying a couple extra days at the Buttes, and Troy was staying over. We went golfing a couple days and hung out. So the one thing I never understood, and I don't think I ever told you this, Steve, after the Super Bowl, you're up late. I would think you're up late even if you lose, but obviously when you win, that's all I do is win Super Bowl. They always schedule the flight at 8 o'clock the next morning. It's like, what's the rush? Yeah. Why not schedule for noon? Let you sleep in a little bit and whatever. You're out till 2 or 3 o'clock. Anyway, it never made any sense to me. But let's talk Pavin Smith.
That's his big complaint. You got trying to wake us up early to get on the plane home. But they got to pay for it. I got a Super Bowl check.
I remember waking up and going to the bathroom, looking out the shade and see everybody out there getting on the bus. I'm like, damn, I'm glad I didn't have to pack and get all that stuff done this morning.
So I worked at a different hotel in town, and the Cowboys would stay there when they come into town to play the Cardinals in the same division. And I remember Dion standing on top of the staircase like that. And Dale always goes, you don't remember Dale? I was like, I never saw Dale. I saw Emmett. I saw Dion. I saw all the other guys.
Coop,
Giesick.
Coop, you'll get a kick out of this too.
Never saw Hillestream.
And so we had to wear a coat and tie on the flight. Now, the way we traveled, once we got really good, was we went to a hangar in Dallas, parked our car in a secure lot. Nobody's there except for Cowboys stuff. Walk on the plane, get on the plane, fly to wherever. Buses meet us at the tarmac. We get on the bus, see nobody, go to the hotel. They let us off in the back. We walk through trash cans or whatever to get our keys, go to the room. We change, and I'm like, why are we wearing a coat and tie for us?
Yeah, that is true.
So
I do remember those days. Even post 9/11, what they would do because you had the security and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So what you do, I just tell you how the Cardinals work. We went to the Cardinals training facility,
Mhm.
and so they had airport personnel there that you had to like go through the
Oh.
screening and stuff. And so you get on the bus, and so then they take you straight onto the tarmac, so you never went inside. So then it's the same thing when you're coming back. They would send FAA
Oh.
personnel there, and you had to take your shoes and everything, and stuff like that just to go through the screening there on the tarmac area, and you get on. So that's how the Cardinals did it. I'm not sure how you guys did it in Dallas.
Well, I was pre 9/11.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
you're being- that's
always
right,
came
that's
through
right.
the front at the hotel I
Yeah.
worked at. I know that. I remember that. I remember you guys and Dan Marino.
I think it was New York, Philadelphia, Washington, because
Yeah,
there'd
the
always
back
be
there.
like 1,000 fans out in
Yeah.
the lobby. They take it
Yeah.
in the back. And,
Oh no, they had it all roped off. I remember.
Yeah.
They'd have everybody standing there waiting for you guys.
all right, enough
Rope
of
it out.
yesteryear. How about Peyton
Dion
Smith?
used
Coop?
to stand at the top of the stairs and rattle his chains, and everybody would cheer for him and everything. Emmett yelled at this. I got a quick
Oh.
Emmett story. Emmett yelled at this girl because she goes, "Your name, sir?" Because they didn't have to check in. They're in the back. They just get their keys. She goes, "Your name, sir?" And he goes, "I'm Emmett Smith. Don't you know who I am?" He was like, "I have no." Here you go, sir. And I was just standing there like, what a jerk. She doesn't know who you are. She's
Don't
like,
you know who I am?
Yeah, and I was just like, you're a football player. She doesn't watch football.
I've heard similar stories about Dale.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing. That's why they kept Dale away from me at the hotel. They were like, stay away from that Hellestrade guy. He's dangerous. You'll fight him. But yeah, okay, Diamondbacks won last night.
Yeah, they did.
Won over the weekend against the Reds. Bats are a problem. Runners in scoring position are a problem. Leading into this series still and stuff like that. They're making some roster moves. They have some roster decisions. Lord Gurriel comes back. Waldschmidt gets sent down.
Yeah,
Your thoughts on that?
yeah. I didn't like that at all. Look. I've said here on this very show that I was trading both Zach Gallen and Lourdes Gurriel at the deadline. Well, with the issues with Corbin Burns, I guess I got to hold on to Gallen, but my position hasn't changed about Gurriel, despite the fact that he had a key RBI bloop single last night. I'd rather let those young kids continue to play and develop. At some point, they're your future, and if I'm going to sacrifice a season, let's make it this season. I mean, I'm already brought those guys up.
Yeah.
And they got up to hot starts. Now the league's made an adjustment on them. Let these guys stay here and let them figure out the adjustment.
Hold
And
on, are
they're-
you saying
yeah.
sacrifice this season?
Hey, look, if you look around the division, and maybe sacrifice is a bad word, but let me let them play out this season. If you look around the league right now, I mean, there's a lot of 500 teams
That's
right
my
in
point.
second and third, and Diamondbacks are one of those teams.
They're
Despite
500
the fact that
yeah.
they're playing this youth,
Mhm.
I don't
what I
want
look
to
at.
upset that apple cart right now and bring in back in some veterans. I know Torrey's big on the veterans,
Yeah.
and so that's where he and I would definitely differ.
They're 500 with the youngsters, and they're 500 without the youngsters. What does it matter?
Yeah, and so the experience that they would gather would be paramount or crucial going
For
forward.
future.
Yeah.
Well, here's the side though. If Torrey's not here and Hazen's not here, I don't think Hazen's in trouble, but we'll see. And stuff like that. But then you have a move, and then all of a sudden the young guys aren't as important to you anymore. But that's why you got to get them up there. But you have guys like Barossa and Pavin Smith. I know Pavin Smith hit the home run, makes us all look foolish today talking about him. But the reality is he's been struggling out there and stuff to that effect. You're leaving those guys. Waldschmidt was playing better than Barossa is. He's playing better than Pavin Smith is. Now I get it, outfield compared to other positions and stuff to that effect. And things like that. It just gives a bad vibe. You want to hear what Torrey said about Waldschmidt?
Well, let me say this about look for Barossa. I see what he's doing right now. When he's ready to close out a game, and I heard this stat last night. Diamondbacks are 31-0 when taking a lead after 8 innings, and so Torrey is real big on. You notice that Barossa always moves to center
Yes.
because he's their Alex Thomas
Defensive
now.
side, yeah.
He can play, and so they don't
I
want to
agree.
use him offensively. So
They
Torrey
can't use
sees-
them offensively.
Torrey sees value in that. Okay, and then if you notice that he also go ahead and use. He's already seen that Ildemaro Vargas,
Yep.
whether he's starting or not, he's his best defensive first baseman.
Yes.
So he makes that move.
And
So-
Vargas's bats quieted down a little
Yeah.
bit over this last
yeah,
month.
I mean,
too,
you know,
so.
you figured he would come back down to his career numbers. At some
Absolutely,
point.
yeah.
And so, but as
No, I get the defensive side of stuff.
okay, but I think you regret to set up a Tory bite.
Well, yeah, just even then with Waldschmidt, I mean, Waldschmidt's playing well in the outfield.
Yeah.
It's not like you're dropping a step down. This was before the game yesterday. Torrey talking about Waldschmidt being set down.
We sent out Waldy post game yesterday, and you know he's in a good spot. When you talk about his career and the trajectory of his career, he's exactly where he needs to be. He came here, he had some impactful moments. He learned. I call them sight lines. He got a new version of what it's going to take, or he saw the version of what it's going to take for him to come back here and be successful. Without doing that, you never know. You dream of this opportunity. He got it. He held his own. But I think there's more to him than just holding his own. I told him to come back here and have an all-star mentality because he has that capability. But he's got to figure out parts of his game. You know, controlling counts, not going up there trying to do too much damage on pitches that he can't necessarily do damage on. And that's just a learning experience for a young hitter. And he's going to go back down there and find his way back into this lineup at some point this year. I firmly believe. Yeah, I was gonna have to be a little bit creative with 3 or 4 guys for 2 spots, maybe 5 guys for 2 spots. Lourdes is going to play a little bit of left field. He's going to DH. Pavin's going to do the same. So I feel like I could fill in their at bats, Pavin and Lourdes in that way. But with Lawler emerging and Tommy Troy doing a really nice job, I just felt like the at bats were going to dry up for Ryan. And you know, like I said, he was doing fine, but he's better than fine. And I want him to go down there and learn how to be great, and he will be.
Let me say this:
Yep.
if the at bats aren't going to dry up for Lourdes Gurriel by inserting him in place of Waldy, how would they dry up for Waldy if you don't bring Gurriel and place him there? I
There's
mean,
no problem.
I'm not
Yeah.
using simple mathematics.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The thing that drives me nuts is Torrey says too much a lot of times, and it's a nice thing to have, but he also gets himself into trouble with it, and things to that effect. It's just he talks in circles. But here's what's gonna happen. Waldschmidt's gonna go down to AAA and then dominate like he did before, to where when they called him up, he can't do anything else in AAA. So we need to get him up here. He needs to experience it, and then now we'll go back down there and get at bats and become better. He's going to go down there and dominate like he did before because he's not a AAA guy. He's a major league guy, which needs to learn to hit, certain pitches and stuff like that, which he's not going to learn down there because they don't throw him down there. They throw him up here.
Yeah,
so every time they send a young guy down, it's how they want him to be better and do this better and do that. But anytime a veteran sucks up here, it's, oh, I just know they're going to be in the batting cages working hard, and you'll hear that with Pavin here in a second when he talks about Pavin. But that's where I get frustrated. You can't have it both ways with these guys.
Yeah, look, I'd rather have Waldschmidt in the outfield defensively than Gurriel.
Absolutely.
And in terms of their bats, I mean, yeah, Gurriel has more.
He woke up.
He has more experience and things like that, but he's a streaky hitter.
Right.
And again, he's not my future, and Waldschmidt is. He's part of my future going forward, and so I want to give my future all the experiences, the adjustments that need to take place, that now as opposed to later. See, if I don't give it to him now, that old commercial, you pay me now or pay me later.
Yes.
No, yeah, I'm ready to pay now. I'm ready. to pay
What
now.
does going down to AAA and dominating in AAA like he did earlier this season going to teach Waldschmidt? It's not going to teach him anything. They're not throwing those high sweeper pitches that he can't hit right now. They're not throwing those in AAA like they are in the pros. He needs to be up here seeing them and figuring out how to hit them and stuff to that effect if you want to. But then the other side of it is you're sending down Waldschmidt, who I think right now is just a better player than Gurriel, better than Barossa. I know that the defensive side, better than Barossa, better than Pavin Smith right now, and I know there's caveats to that. But just putting down a guy and telling him to go down there and be better, and veterans are up here struggling beyond belief, and you don't say anything about that. It drives me nuts and batty.
Yeah, well, Torrey likes, clearly he has a certain affinity or loyalty to certain players, and then he likes veteran players. He trusts his veteran players, and so that's the only place where I would differ with Torrey at.
Right.
And
you're 500. You're 500 with the veterans.
Yeah.
Why not see if it can be different with the young guys? But there's a narrative around this team. I told Dale, I heard it from Gonzo a couple of weeks ago. I heard it from a couple of Jody Jackson. Friday night's game was Apple TV. I refused to buy Apple TV for like 5 games a year. So I was listening to the pregame on the radio. And Jody Jackson, I can't remember. It might have been on 98.7, before they go to the pregame show. But she's talking and she says, well, I know there's a lot of stress with the young guys down below, causing stress on this team. And you don't want to have to rely on all these young guys down there. That's the narrative the Diamondbacks are putting out there. These young guys are putting too much stress on these veterans and things. And the narrative needs to go away. You need to play the young guys.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Well, I don't know. I got one better. It was probably 4, 5, 6 years ago now, where some of the Diamondbacks pitchers were getting rattled when somebody get up in the bullpen when they get up a couple innings. That was a storyline for a little bit. And I'm like, you're gonna put that out there?
I mean, do they have a fragile mentality?
Yes,
fragile side? I mean,
they
look.
do. Yeah,
Let me tell you
do.
something. What I saw last night from the Diamondbacks really kind of excited me, and this has been part of the problem. It's not, the young kids aren't the problem. It's your veteran leaders that have not gotten the job done. Now, by Torrey sending Jerry down in the batting order, I think that really helped him because now he's come back. And look.
That took him way too long to do it.
Yeah. And check this out. So Jerry finishes 4th in the MVP voting a year ago. I don't know if he put too much pressure on himself, or maybe he didn't. He thought he had arrived, and he didn't put in the same work. But he struggled big time, and that affected the overall performance of the team. We can get to say the same thing about Ketel Marte, but let me show you what I saw last night. This is why I know Jerry. I mean, they sent him down, and in the batting order, he started to really come alive. So now they moved him back up. So he was batting second last night, and so he's on first base. Corbin and look, he's working his pitches now. I mean, he's working these walks now. He's getting back to being Jerry. He's on first base. There's one out. Corbin Carroll's up. Corbin lifts a fly ball, the medium short right field, but it's in the foul territory. So you have the first and second baseman running out, the right fielder running in. Jerry, being smart, because a lot of people play halfway. Now the ball is going foul territory. He comes back to first and tags up. The outfielder and infielder collide, even though the second baseman caught the ball. He tagged and went from first to third, which was key because the next hitter, Gabriel Moreno, hits an infield single that if he's only on second base, he's not going to score. He scored from third base. That was key. So then, stay with me. Jerry's up again. The game is tied at 3. Jerry sends one. It's 3-2 Diamondbacks at this point. Sorry. Jerry splits the gap in left center, and Marte's on first base. It's 2 outs. I haven't seen Marte run like this. Marte scored from first on a double to the gap in left center. And Marte was running his butt. I haven't seen him run like that. So if I get 2 veteran players like Jerry and Marte playing the way they were, we're not having this discussion about the rookies.
You haven't seen Marte run that ball on the base pass since the All-Star game last year.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
Yeah, you're right.
That's when he did it.
Well, he got a day's rest before, and he got a week's rest after. So,
really quick, Torian Pavin, of course, hits the giant home run yesterday. Kind of alleviates it there, and everybody's just asking, like, what is your affiliation with the Pavins? Because they have roster decisions coming up where they're going to have to DFA guys.
Yeah.
Torian Pavin last night. This is after the game. Keep it in mind. Here's Tori Stock.
Like that. I'd like to see it.
Yeah. Pavin is just so steady with his emotions, and you don't know if he's feeling too high or if he's feeling too low. But with every swing that he's taken in the cage, I feel like he's getting closer to that feeling that he's looking for. He's a feel swinger. He wants to be able to find the barrel, and it just takes a little time to sync things up. So it was just great to watch him have that moment. It was special for him, and I knew in my gut I felt like that time was coming because I always say Pavin can hit.
Yeah,
a lot of confidence in that man.
Well, let me tell you something. When Pavin was at Virginia, look, he was a sweet swinging player. I thought for sure he would be a career like 300 hitter in Major League
so
Baseball.
did the D-backs.
I really did.
Well, they went with him.
And he's proven he's not that player.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, and he's even had opportunities where
injuries too.
Well, he's had opportunities where he's based on injuries, not only to himself but to others. He's been put in a place where he had to be that guy. Now, keep in mind, they had some dude named Christian Walker here.
Mm-hmm.
That was stunning his growth at first base. But they put him in the outfield. He was a starter in the outfield, and he was an everyday starter, and yet he still failed to live up to that being at 300 hitter.
Right.
Your thoughts on Pavin there, Dale? Close us out.
You know what? They're on a couple game winning streak. Let's play it out.
It's the Angels.
Well.
He loves when I do that.
Last time I checked, these wins still count in the win column, don't they, Coop?
Yeah. Hey, look. The Diamondbacks are 26-9 against teams under 500.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they are 11-26 against teams that are 500 or better.
10 and 21.
10-21.
Yeah, 10 and 21.
Okay. Okay.
Don't make it better than what it is. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. There's again my difficulty in baseball is there's still almost 100 games left.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't disagree
and to
with
talk
you.
about every game as if it's life and death.
Well, it's the bigger picture. They're going to have to bring 3 players back here coming up, and they're going to have to make 3
they're
roster
not.
moves.
Everybody keeps getting hurt on their rehab assignments. They're not going to bring anybody up.
That is true.
Yeah.
Medical staff
Look.
issues.
Yeah. Look. You're not even bringing Santana back. That's not even an option.
Coop, I will put money on it. Santana's going to get brought back up.
no,
I'll put money
no.
on it right now.
Hey, they better DFA him
As a
now.
defensive
I don't even know
replacement.
why they moved him to the 60-day. DFA the guy. He is worthless.
Are we getting any pitchers back here? We thought we were going to have all these pitchers at the All-Star break.
At this point, it only looks like maybe Justin Martinez. But again, the way this bullpen is pitching right
Vaughn
now.
will be back.
Yeah, the way the bullpen is pitching right now, I don't think that the Diamondbacks really need to rush anybody back.
Yeah.
I mean, the only guy, just based on how the bullpen is pitched, the only guy that I would looking to bring back would have been Corbin Burns, but he's not going to come back now till at the earliest September. So
yeah, I'm just the more you look at it, I'm not sure 500 is going to get you into the playoff conversation here at the end of the year, and that's
I think the Diamondbacks usually go on like a post All-Star break roll. And so
2 years ago they didn't. That whole month of July was terrible. That was the World Series year. The whole month of July was terrible, and then they kind of got better through August and hit their stride going into the playoffs. But generally, you're right.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, whether it's August or September, it's still post All-Star break. I mean, I'm just going to bring some certain logic to you. I'm
just thinking like right after the All-Star break kind of deal. But also last 2 years they've been in the playoff hunt and weren't able to get into the playoffs at the end.
Because they faltered that final week. I mean, dang.
Marte has to sit out.
Yeah, what did they went down to like the 2 years ago, the last day of the regular season.
Right.
And so they needed the Braves to sweep the Mets, and they wound up splitting, so the Diamondbacks didn't get in.
Well, they had lost a game in that series before that put them in that position.
Yeah. And then this past year, I think they went down to like maybe the penultimate game before.
I think it was the last series. I think it was the second to last game or something like that.
Well, that's why you got to win games June 16th, 17th, 18th.
Absolutely.
And,
you can't go into Miami and get swept by the Marlins.
No,
exactly.
But you can come back and sweep the Angels.
And here's the outrage with that. The Marlins won 8-0 and 2-0, 2 back-to-back shutouts.
Yeah.
They don't. It's like they have Cy Young Award. They have Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling on their roster.
They were something like
kidding me?
11 of 157 with runners in scoring position.
Oh man,
in like 15 games.
It's been brutal.
Before we get out of here,
give us something positive, Dale.
Well, I don't know if you'll think this is positive. Torts is not coming back to Vegas next year.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Who?
Tortorella.
Yeah, John Tortorella, who just took him. This guy hired 9 games for the end of the season. What does that tell you, Dale?
I think he doesn't want to coach.
I think you're right. I think maybe that, but also, I told you a lot of grumblings from my Vegas insiders and stuff I talked to of he just wouldn't make that goalie change when Hart was giving up 4 goals a game and didn't even go to Hill. Hill has a championship and stuff to that and wouldn't switch off of the goaltender. And the media there was kind of harping him on it. He was saying things like, what's the stupidest thing I've ever heard?
I thought it was Carolina's goaltender. I can't think of his name right now.
Oh, no. Bussy.
Yeah. I thought this guy was just nails. He was outstanding. I mean, so it didn't matter.
Oh, could make you cry. Could play his videos with his mom after he won the Stanley Cup. And
Steve allows no crying at press conferences or championships.
Oh no, no. He can cry because he was literally on the waste pile of garbage. Nobody wanted him, and he went in and won 3 Stanley Cup games, hosting that trophy up. Did you see Carolina's trainer every day after practice? Every time people were in there before they left, he made them lift up a concrete block, lift it from the ground and up. Every player did it and everything.
Practicing
they had no idea. He was having him practice. That's the same weight as the cup. And he was having him practice lifting the cup all season long. They didn't even know what was happening. Isn't that amazing? And then there's the Diamondbacks. Oh, I tweaked my shoulder coming back from injury again.
Well, not every player's like that.
Coop, as always, thank you very much. For everybody else, we'll be back tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. Come and join us. What was that?